should still be the smell of a person who made the prints. They searched the ducts and all the hidey holes, but couldn't find anyone. After that, we constantly heard footsteps coming from the third floor, but never caught anyone there. It became the haunted lab, and we started to ignore them. Yeah, that place is definitely haunted. Last I heard, the place is still abandoned because they can't sell it due to it being haunted. I have plenty of other weird, unexplained, or downright terrifying stories, but I'll have to submit them another time. Thank you for taking the time to read this, and if you put it in a video, that would be cool too. And thank you so much for your story. That was really, I just really scary. I really wonder what that is. I mean, the bear footprints always so terrifying. I mean, yeah, because who knows what was up there? And it's so weird how the alarm was triggered, but you guys also had the entire building, you know. You had all of the exits kind of on lockdown, and nobody was found. And even the canines couldn't find anyone. But yeah, that's terrifying, and that's good you got out of there safe. And if you want to submit more stories, go for it. I'll be sure to read it in the future. Thank you so much, and on to the next one. Before I get into this story, I should mention that I have no clue if this guy ended up in prison or anything like that. So here we go. I'm a 16-year-old male living in Quebec, which is a French-Canadian province. And I'm English. Because of that, I didn't get to socialize much. I spent a lot of time home and didn't really have any close friends to hang out with, especially since we lived on the outskirts of town, right next to a busy highway. I was about 8 or 9 when the crazy stuff started happening, but I still remember it all pretty clearly. Our old house was always loud since it was right next to a cement factory and a prison, so noise wasn't new to me. But one summer night, my family and I woke up to what sounded like a huge crashes and even explosions coming from our neighbor's backyard. We all rushed to the windows and were shocked by what we saw. Our bizarre neighbor, who never talked to anyone in the neighborhood, was setting a school bus on fire. It was seriously weird. What could make someone do that, especially at 3 a.m.? My mom and my old stepdad, not wanting to get involved, decided not to call the cops and told me to stay away from that house because they thought he was hiding something. They were definitely onto something. A week went by without any drama, but then things got even weirder. Our neighbor rented a mini excavator and started digging 2 huge holes like 6 feet deep right behind his house. That definitely freaked me out as a kid. My parents kept insisting that the guy was no good, which was pretty traumatizing. It wasn't until years later, after I had free access to the internet,
How do
that
I
I
make
realized
a
the
brewing
sick truth.
stand?
People who dig 6-foot holes usually aren't just fixing plumbing. They're hiding bodies. This guy had a pretty clever cover story. I found out that one trick people use to hide bodies is to put a dead animal on top so that dogs and other animals will find that instead.
I don't
And
want to
wouldn't
go to
you
the
know,
nether.
He had a small sheep barn just down the hill, set up 3 months before all this went down. But his plans seemed to fall apart because just 2 weeks later, when we'd almost forgotten about the craziness, we got a knock on our door at midnight. 2 officers told us they were doing a crime scene investigation at our neighbor's place. They told us not to get in the way and to ignore what was happening. As a kid, seeing so many police officers felt kind of cool at first, but soon it got really intense. There were about 20 cops out there, all decked out in hazmat suits with dogs and cameras. They were there for weeks, like they were looking for something major, and there was just this unsettling feeling hanging in the air. After roughly 3 weeks, they finally packed up and left. Then, just like that, the house went up for sale, and a new couple moved in. We didn't even give them a friendly wave because we were looking to sell our place too. I often wonder if the guy was a serial killer or something, but whatever he did, it was clearly planned out. I have no idea what happened to him afterward, but I do know that the cops never dug up those holes. It's unsettling to think that the new couple might unknowingly have 2 bodies buried in their backyard. Hey Snook, this story is 100% real. It's very dark and it's probably going to depress your entire community, whether or not you decide to post it. I just need to get this weight off my chest for my own sake. Do with this story as you please. I will be leaving my name out of this out of sheer anxiety. I'm sure someone will piece together who I am someday. I'll deal with it then.
Working across teams is tough, but Asana helps you handle it. Asana AI can spot roadblocks and assign work to keep everything on track. That's how work gets handled. Visit us at asana.com.
This story may even be able to help others like me. Edit this in any way you want. This is all factual information. I'm even drunk off my 12-pack as I put this all together. Go for the correct pacing or grammar or whatever, I don't care. I trust you'll do well if you use my story. It's legit. I just needed to get it off my chest. Trying to recover after it's all over. I lost a good paying job 2 years ago because our department was shut down. When I say good paying, I don't mean six figures or anything like that, but it was enough for me to be comfortable. I was saving money to move out of my parents' house. My girlfriend at the time was excited to be able to move in with me. We were a bit far from each other, so seeing each other sometimes was difficult due to our schedules and the distance we had to drive. We take turns seeing each other in our respective areas to get to know more of each other's families and friends, as well as going to places we'd never been to in our areas, like bowling alleys I didn't have here and such. She and I had been dating for the last year of my 2-year tenure at the job I had lost. Around 3 months after I recovered from appendicitis, an emergency meeting was called and all of us were promptly let go because they simply didn't need our department anymore. The severance package was honestly great. I got paid to sit around for a long time. I used all of this time and free money to go and see my girlfriend more often and to hang out with my family and friends more. I mean, really, at this point, I felt on top of the world. I forgot about Uncle Sam. Tax return season hit, and all of a sudden, I owed the government money because the money I was given was untaxed. We were told explicitly that it was already taxed upon receiving it, so I start to panic and immediately apply for jobs that could meet the minimum that I need to at least scrape by with pennies. At this point, my anxiety starts to flare up uncontrollably, and my depression is starting to get worse. All I can think about is how I'm going to manage to recover from this. I know it was stupid to not look for jobs after being let go, but I was high on life. I was only 22 at the time, for Christ's sakes. I get a job that I'm miserable at, which doesn't pay anywhere as good as my previous position. My relationship with both my girlfriend and my friends took a sharp hit. I simply am stuck. I'm stressed, my anxiety is high, and I'm extremely depressed. I can't take it anymore, so I started to drink. Not a lot, but enough to forget. It started small at first, but it progressed to a point where I couldn't control it anymore. Now, let's get to what you and your fans are waiting for. Let's get creepy with a bit of sadness still. Fast forward to a time that's close to the present day. I'm 24 now. I'm a severe alcoholic. I fell down that deep hole that I can't climb out of. Everything is cured when I drink. I don't feel that misery anymore. I don't feel that stress or pain anymore. I feel just enough to be alive, and that's all I want. I go to bed one night after another 30 beer binge session until I black out, and I see a tall, lengthy black figure in my dreams. It didn't have eyes. It didn't have a mouth. It just was tall with long arms and legs. It just stood there and didn't move. For some reason, I knew it was staring at me. I genuinely felt emotions in my dream. I didn't feel malice or hatred or anger. I felt disappointment. It was as if this figure in my head was exuding pure disappointment and sadness towards me. It was as if it wanted me to get better. A few weeks of this went by where this strange creature or shadow or whatever the fuck this is would appear in my dreams. It literally won't go away. I had a dream where I was in a car with a friend, and when I turned my head, it was just standing on the grass to my right looking at me. It never got closer or chased me. It just got farther as we drove away. Another time it stood there staring at me in a restaurant while I was sitting at a table all by myself. It never changed. After a while, my girlfriend and I decided to split up. I neglected her. I never harmed her physically in any way. I'm thankfully a fun and happy drunk, but I just couldn't stop drinking. All of my spare money would go to alcohol. I'd play it off by saying it was a slow week, or I just wouldn't answer her at all when it came to seeing her or going on a date with her sometime soon. Months would go by without me seeing her because I was so broke from spending the remaining pennies that I'd get on alcohol. The black figure in my dreams appeared more often in my dreams after we split up. It just stared at me. It wouldn't move. It wouldn't look away. It stared. All I felt was someone being disappointed in me every time I caught its black gaze. I finally had enough and got a hold of my doctor. I couldn't handle whatever was happening anymore. I told them everything. Idiotic to tell a doctor about alcohol, I know. I just wanted this to end. I had a blood test done. My ALT, AST, ALP, GGT were high. Bilirubin and albumin were abnormal, as well as PT and LDH. I was also issued an ultrasound on all my organs, which came back damaging to most. I was also referred to a sleep study. I was told I can't drink before, so for the first time in a long time, I didn't drink. The withdrawals were a little intense, but I managed to fall asleep. During my sleep, I had that same black figure just standing there in my dreams, but it was different.
There is no limitation. We won't challenge completely. In the next generation, GMC Terrain AT4. We are professional grade.
After years of war, no one could stand between my men.
It was smiling. It was just an empty white void. But whatever the hell it was smiling a toothless, all-white light smile. Its face just held that smile. When I stared at it, I felt warm and a little comforted. It was a feeling I hadn't felt in so long. It felt like it was proud of me. Now, we're here in the present day. Well, I went from drinking 30 plus beers a day and blacking out to drinking only 12 a day. It's not much progress, but it's a lot better than what it was. That black creature is there still, but it's fading. It still smiles at me, but it's missing an arm and a leg now. I still feel the warmth and the happiness it gives me. I don't know what it is, but I've grown to enjoy its presence. It makes me happy. I don't think it'll last forever. It's so similar to my ex-girlfriend's feelings that she made me feel. My organ scans are showing the inflammation and injury has gone to my organs like nothing happened, but my liver has become an alcohol-related fatty liver disease. I suppose everything has a price to pay. I wouldn't have learned my lesson without that one. My whole body has done a 180. I want to believe this black being in my dreams is something my ex did. She was always a believer in witchcraft and spellcasting. I don't know. I'd like to believe deep down that she wanted the best for me. She tried, truly, to help me as much as possible. She stuck with me through everything until I stopped trying. If you hear this, you know who you are. I'm sorry that I drank the way I did. I'm sorry I became a drunk. I heard that you are happy now. That's all I ever wanted for you. And I'm glad you're happy now. You deserve it all. I don't know if the dark creature or shadow or whatever is you, but if it is, please stop giving pieces of you to me. I'll be okay. Thank you for granting me one more chance, but I don't want your shadow or dark figure or whatever to come for you. Thank you for believing in me and giving my body a second chance. I can still live. My body isn't as broken as it was because you gave it a chance. I can finally apologize. I'm sorry. I messed up. I got addicted. If that truly is your shadow, or yourself, or your person, then please leave it alone and go towards the one who's made you happy. I'll be better. I'll recover. I'll make sure your time wasn't wasted on me. If you can, I want you to take back what you gave me. Whatever you did for my organs. I want you to take it back. I don't want you to use your own time on me. And wow, man, sounds like you're, in a rough spot, but things can get better. I'm not a therapist in any sort of way, but I enjoy reading stories, obviously. I mean, look at my channel. And yeah, yours was definitely impactful, but I'm really glad you're making progress. Like you said, 30 to 12. You said it's not much progress. I see that. I think that's huge progress. But now you need to keep scaling it back. And slow progress. It 100% won't be overnight. You won't wake up one day and it'll all be good. But it'll be a slow burn of recovery and progression upwards, which I think you definitely can do. Yeah, like I said, I'm not a therapist. I don't really know how to talk people through things. But if you're listening right now, you can do it. You can really do anything you want, but just keep scaling it back and then, just try to give up the alcohol. Go to AA meetings. I've heard those are very impactful for people. Alcoholics Anonymous. I think that would be really great for you to do. And just take it one day at a time. Don't think about it as getting sober, because that's a big task to take on. Just take it a day at a time. Every day should get better. Just try to be better. And even if you slip up, it's okay, because you can recover. Don't be hard on yourself. People make mistakes, and it's no worries. You got it, man. You totally got it. Thank you for sharing your stories and your story. And it'll get better, man. And hopefully you can kick this this bad habit, and hopefully maybe get back with your ex-girlfriend. I know that's probably big hopes, but you never know what happens. Or you can meet someone else that loves you just as much, which I'm sure can happen. And yeah, I'm proud of you, and everyone listening is also proud of you. Yeah, if you are watching, comment. I'll try to find your comment, maybe pin it. But yeah, you're all right, man. It'll all be good. Just take it a day at a time. That's really the best advice that I've ever lived by. But just live it a day at a time. Every day, just try to get better. I know I'm probably repeating myself at this point, but yeah, that was a really impactful story, man. And I'm sorry things got bad, but it's all right. I think you're on the upward trend. And I appreciate you having the courage to share it here and for everyone to read it. And I'm sure it'll be very impactful for a lot of people out there. If anyone else listening to this is going through anything similar, you can do it. And I think the best way to handle any situation that sucks is take it a day at a time. Because if you look at it over a year horizon, you know, a huge monumental achievement of reaching something, it'll be very daunting and you most likely won't reach it. But if you just take it a day at a time to chip away at your goal, you can do it. Whether that be getting sober or, you know, any other sort of goal, you can do it. And yeah, this community is all loving. I really like my community, and I think they'll support you. So I know this is at the end of the video. I didn't mean to do that in any sort of way. I just usually compile all these stories and then read through them as I go. This just happened to be the last one, but maybe that's a good thing, because a lot of the true fans will stick it through the end, leave a comment supporting you. And yeah, you're not alone, man. Hit back my email if you ever want to talk. I'm sure a lot of other people will talk to you in your comments if you want to reply to some people. It'll all be good, man. You got this. And I just appreciate you sending in your story. Thank you so much. And have a great day. And all right, guys, that wraps up some terrifying, true, scary stories. I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, that last one was a little bit impactful, sad, but it's all right. Maybe it's hopeful. I think it's very hopeful. Whether or not the person who wrote that thinks it's hopeful, I think it's hopeful. You're getting better. You will get better. And everything will be back on track. You guys got this. And thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. Please like and subscribe. You guys are the best. Best community on YouTube for sure. And thank you so much. And I'll see you next time. Bye.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep your operation running. That's why at Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Are you the kind of person who knows things? Things like you can get a domain from Squarespace, not just a website? Well, now you are that person, because now you definitely know you can get a domain from Squarespace. Something like whisperingbloom.com for your silent retreat, or whisperingboom.com for your shouting retreat. Whatever your dream, a Squarespace domain and website brings it to life, all in one place. Get yours before it's gone with offer code MAKEITREAL for 10% off your domain or website. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to another Reddit Stories video. And in today's video, we will be covering Reddit's Skinwalker Encounters Volume 2, because you guys seem to love the first one so much, and it just did really well. And you guys keep asking for more and more like this one, so here you go. And anyways, I'm just excited to get into it, so welcome to Reddit Skinwalker Encounters. And also, before we get into it fully, please subscribe to the channel. It helps out a ton, and like the video. And yeah, let's get into it. My Skinwalker story. Before I begin, I would like to say this is a very long story. It's been something that's haunted me since I was 6 years old, since my first encounter with it. I've had dreams about this, and 2 very specific encounters with the creature. I'm sharing this story so I could possibly find help on what to do or how to get rid of this creature that's been hunting me since I can remember. Just for background, I'm a 21-year-old female and still worry about this creature finding me, but I'll get into detail why later. For now, here's my story. I would always go camping with my grandparents, who I call Gammy and Gampy, at the end of my school years. I would always look forward to it since I grew up loving the outdoors and the woods. I especially loved camping, loving the idea of having s'mores, taking long hikes, being around the campfire, and of course the wildlife we would see. Now, I grew up in California, mostly near cities, so the forest was like my true home to me. I always preferred being near trees and dirt rather than the buildings and crowded places. Besides, the woods were much quieter and more peaceful. I always felt safe while I was there, like nothing could ever hurt me. But something strange would always happen at the end of the month of May. I would always have this reoccurring dream during the last week of my school year. I would be in the woods, walking alone down a dirt trail. The woods were always strangely quiet. I would continue to walk this path until I saw this red fox poke its head out from behind a tree. Its eyes were always strangely human-like, but they were yellow and somehow looked like a teddy bear eyes. And it would just stare at me. It wouldn't make a sound at all. It would just watch me. Usually in my dream I would go up and pet it. Then making the fox finally making a noise, usually a soft growl. Then I would continue walking, and it would follow me. The first time I would have this dream was when I was actually around 5 years old, and it lasted until I was perhaps 11 years old. Over the years, it would be the exact same thing. I would go for a walk in the woods, find this fox, pet it, then continue my hike with it alongside me. But about having this dream for the fourth time, it would start to walk behind me. That's when I started to feel uneasy about this fox. I could hear it making odd noises, but every time I went to look back, it would always just be walking like nothing was wrong, even somehow giving me a smile. Sorry to go about one dream, but I now believe that it was a warning of the creature. Now that the dream is out of the way, I can talk about my first true encounter. I was 6 years old, and I was going on a camping trip with Gammy and Gampy for about a week. Of course, I was very excited for it, being able to barely keep myself in my school seat for the last day of kindergarten. They had picked me up right as the bell had rung and already had the camping trailer attached to Gampy's truck. I remember he drove an old red truck that only had 3 seats, me always being in the middle. It took about 2 hours to get there, and another good hour to find our usual camping spot. It was deep into the woods and far from other people, as my Gammy wasn't too fond of being around other people while we camped. As they were setting up the camping trailer, I wandered around the campsite, loving to dig in the dirt for bugs. I had sat down on the dirt and started to dig, but I noticed how strangely quiet the woods were. It was never quiet, not even in the dead of night. I thought it was odd, but being only 6, I didn't think too hard about it. As I continued to dig for bugs, however, I thought I heard my Gammy call for me. She'd always call me Sugar Booger, that being a nickname she gave me since I was born. That's what I had heard, but it sounded like she was very far away and somewhat sick. Sugar Booger. I looked up where I heard it come from, that being from the woods, but there was no way she was there because she was still unloading stuff from the truck. Even at age 6, it didn't feel right. So I walked closer to my grandparents and stayed next to them. I soon forgot about my weird encounter though, as we began to have fun. For the rest of the day, we played card games, sat next to the campfire as we ate dinner, and stared up into the stars. I always loved seeing the stars, there never being anywhere I lived at. We started to get sleepy around 9 p.m., I believe, and we started to get ready for bed. There were bunk beds that me and my Gammy would sleep on, keeping our luggage on the top bunk, and we would sleep on the bottom bunk. Due to my Gampy snoring, he would sleep on the couch of the trailer. I would always sleep next to the trailer window just in case I couldn't sleep and wanted to look outside. I fell asleep pretty quickly though, that being the last day of school and all. It was pretty exhausting. I remember waking up many hours later. It was still being pitch black outside. It wasn't weird for me to just wake up late at night, since I always have had sleeping issues. I rolled onto my side trying to fall back asleep until I heard Sugar Booger. My eyes immediately shot open as I heard my nickname being spoken, but I knew it wasn't either of my grandparents. They were both fast asleep and never were known to sleep talk before. I started to feel this horrible feeling in my gut, like whatever I was hearing wanted to really hurt me. Even at the age of 6, I knew this wasn't normal. Then I started to hear tapping at the trailer window. It was soft, but loud enough for me to hear it. Tap, tap.
Working across teams is tough, but Asana helps you handle it. That's because Asana is where humans and AI coordinate work together. AI can spot roadblocks and assign work in a snap, so everything and everyone stays on track. That's how work gets handled. That's Asana. Visit us at asana.com. That's ASANA.com.
Tap. I just sat there, frozen in fear. I was trying to just brush it off as tree branches or rain, but I just knew that it wasn't. I could tell that it really was someone or something tapping on the window. Then I decided to be brave and look. Big mistake. I pulled the curtain away to only peek, and all I saw were these large, yellow eyes. They seemed glassy, yet not entirely real. They looked like a giant teddy bear eyes, but cold and unwelcoming. I remember in that moment, I panicked and quickly closed the curtains back up. I then hid under the blanket. That being the Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another Scary Stories video, and today I've got a unique twist. These are all sent in by subscribers. Yes, the subscribers of the Snook channel that you're watching right now. These are all subscriber sent in stories, so that makes it a lot more personal and kind of community driven, and they're all true stories as far as I know. And I hope you enjoy this new kind of series. Let me know down in the comments below, would you like to see some more subscriber sent in stories? I think that this is kind of a cool new series possibly to start. And if you want to send in your own personal story, true or not, please check the description. There's the email. Send it to that email. I'll possibly read your story, and I'll possibly shout you out. And yeah, please comment down below if you'd like to see more of these, and send in your stories if you really want to be featured in one of these videos. And thank you so much for stopping by. Please like and subscribe. And the channel's goal is 500,000 subscribers, so please subscribe to the channel. And all right, without further ado, let's get into some unnerving, true, scary stories. And before we get into the first one, I will keep the names anonymous because I don't want to dox anybody or say anything that I'm not supposed to say. So I'll just read strictly what they sent in or the story in general. So let's get into them. Hey Snook, let me start off by saying I love your videos. Thank you. Really, I appreciate the effort you've been putting into them. Keep up the good work, man. I saw your community post and it compelled me to send in my story. I'm from the Netherlands, which is also where the story takes place. English is not my first language, so please forgive me for any grammatical errors I might have made. If you have the time, I'd love for you to read it and let me know your thoughts. If you end up putting it in a video, that would be even better. I don't really care about credit. But if you need a name, just call me Lars. Okay, Lars, thank you for the story. Anyways, this is my story. The legend of Ajay Masink. Something that should not exist. Before we start, let's get something straight. I know how this sounds. Two dipshit teenagers, a local ghost story, a night filled with poor life choices, and now, years later, I'm trauma dumping like an unhinged conspiracy theorist with a corkboard full of red string. I get it. If I were you, I'd call bullshit too, but I swear on my shitty, dead-end life, this actually happened. And if you're from the Netherlands, specifically Diepenheim, or anywhere near it, you need to listen because Ajay Masink is real, and once you see him, he never really lets you go. The dumbest plan in history. 5 years ago, when I was 17 and running purely on nicotine, stupidity, and stolen beer, my best friend Danny and I spent most nights doing exactly what you'd expect from two guys with no future and even less impulse control. Drinking lukewarm Heineken, smoking Marlboros that tasted like burnt carpet, stealing traffic signs we had no real use for. Talking about how much Diepenheim sucked and how we'd totally move somewhere cool one day. We are still here. The real horror is economic stagnation. That night we are already 6 beers in, lying on our backs in a field, staring at the stars like two philosophers who have never read a book. We had just finished an extremely serious discussion about whether or not birds are real. I still have doubts. When Danny, who had the survival instincts of a lab rat,
dude, yeah, this truck,
said,
he was driving the wrong way on a one-lane road, and I go, yeah, just hit me, and I go like that, and he flips me off, and I'm like,
Danny grinned.
You're a grown-up man driving the wrong way on
Danny,
a one-way road, and he was in my lane too, and I ran me almost off the road, and I go like this, and you flip me off?
Whatever, tell me something new. Danny took a swig from his hip flask because of
I was like, bro, and it was like one of my first times on the road too. I was like, are you freaking kidding
me? They say
me?
if you get close enough. He talks
to make rockets.
I raised an eyebrow.
Buckets.
And no one remembers what he says. Now, I would love to tell you that we took this information as a warning, that we, as functioning human beings, decided to respect the boundaries of reality and not go looking for the literal cryptid of our town. But Danny and I were about as smart as a bag of wet sand, so instead of, going home like sane people, I crushed my empty beer can, stretched and said, all right, let's go find his creepy ass. And because Danny was the kind of person who would absolutely die first in a horror movie, he grinned and said, fuck yeah. The fields of bad decisions. The fields were already drowning in fog when we got there. Not the cool, mystical kind that makes everything feel like a dream sequence. This was thick-ass, Silent Hill fog, the kind that eats sound. Danny took a swig from his flask and lit another cigarette. You scared? No. I lied. This is fucking stupid. Then the smell hit us. Thick, wet, rotten. Like a dead raccoon marinating in hot garbage. Danny gagged. Jesus, fuck. Did something crawl up your ass and die? I shoved him. Shut up, Danny. Then, somewhere in the mist, a whistle. Soft, casual, like someone whistling while they worked. Danny froze. I took a slow drag. Exhaled. Okay, that's actually kind of fucked. Then, from the fog, breathing. Not normal breathing. Deep, ragged, wet, like something with too many lungs. Then he stepped out. The worst possible idea. At first, he was just a shape in the fog. Tall, too tall. Limbs just a little too long.
Why is it
Posture
stuck like
just
that?
a little too wrong. His eyes, glossy, black, reflective, like a spider's eyes, but worse. His jaw, slack, unhinged, like it had been ripped open too far and left that way. He didn't move, didn't run at us, didn't make any horror movie noises, just stood there and watched. Danny took another sip from his flask. Well, shit. I took a drag. Yup. We stared at him. He stared at us. Then, because Danny was the human embodiment of this is how you die in a horror movie, he exhaled and said, "You're not scary, bro." I turned to him, horrified. "What the fuck are you doing?" Danny shrugged. "Dude's just standing there. Big whoop." Ajay Masink tilted his head. Then he whistled. The exact same whistle we heard before, and for some cosmic, fucked up reason, that was the single worst thing he could have done. Every nerve in me screamed. Danny's cocky grin vanished. Then Ajay spoke. "We should not have done that." I don't know what he said, neither does Danny, but the second the words left his mouth, it felt like something peeled open my skull and vacuumed out a chunk of my memory. Like my brain just went, "Nope, you don't get to keep that." Danny looked like he was going to vomit. His cigarette had burned to the filter, forgotten between his fingers. "Dude," he whispered, "we should go." For once in his idiot life, I agreed. The consequences of our actions. That should have been the end of it, but it wasn't, because after that night, neither of us could let it go. Danny became obsessed. I became paranoid. And both of us, no matter how hard we tried, couldn't shake the feeling that we were missing something. Then we met an old man. "You won't find what you're looking for," he muttered. Danny leaned in. "Why not?" The old man exhaled, lighting a cigarette with shaking fingers. "Because it's already found you. We're going back." That was 3 weeks ago. Since then, the dreams have gotten worse. I wake up at night to the smell. Thick, wet, rotten. And sometimes when the air is quiet, I hear whistle. Danny and I are going back tonight. We need to see him again. We need to remember. If we don't come back, if this is my last post, then let this be a warning. If you ever hear a whistle in the fog, don't fucking follow it. No matter how drunk, high, or dumb as shit you are. Hello, Snook. Let me just say I love your channel. It's perfect for listening to during long drives. I want to share with you one of my many, many stories, and the one I would consider the worst/scariest experience I've had to date. And thanks for the kind words. Some background information on me. I have always been interested in the paranormal, seeing as I've been haunted on multiple occasions for reasons I won't get into. To save on time and
What do you
length,
mean
I checked
reasons? You
spirits.
just get
They
haunted?
will often make themselves known to me. Every member of my family has seen what I'm talking about and have had their own experiences too. Anyone who listens to this story does not have to believe me. Hell, if I didn't experience it for myself, I wouldn't believe me. But my hand to God, this story is 100% true. Anyways, here's my story. Back in May 2013, my grandmother passed away and we inherited her home. Seeing as it was much bigger than our own, we moved the 30 minutes away to that house after taking a summer to empty it, clean it up, and make room for my family. After moving in, I started feeling something or someone watching me. At this point in my life, I was no longer strange to the paranormal, so I was quick to try and debunk what this feeling was, chalking it up to just having moved to a house I wasn't familiar with or fully comfortable in yet. That was until I started seeing things. I would see the silhouette of a shadow figure walk past a mirror or peek around a corner. Doors would open and close on their own. I started having lucid dreams when I am not a lucid dreamer. I'm still not a lucid dreamer. I'd hear a disembodied voice from time to time, but outside some very real feeling nightmares, nothing too extreme happened. That was until one Saturday night. I was in our living room watching TV, and it was about 11:30 p.m. when I decided to turn it off and go upstairs to bed. From the living room I was in, I had to walk through our kitchen, then to the front door and towards the door, where the stairs were right there. As I walked towards the front door and past the front room, I looked in the darkened room to see it being illuminated by the moonlight. I could see our couch, coffee table, TV that shone in through a big bay window we have, but what stood out to me was I couldn't see the lights on our DVR box, if anyone remembers those. For those unfamiliar, the lights indicated that the box had power, signal, was recording, etc. Initially, I thought we lost power, but quickly remembered I was just watching TV in that room. As I stood there, wondering why I couldn't see the lights on the DVR, my eyes trailed up to see a figure, darker than the dark room it stood in, standing in front of the DVR, looking at me. When I tell you this thing was darker than dark, it's no joke. It was like it absorbed all the light around it. The moonlight that was shining in illuminated a shoulder, neck, and head, except it had no features, no eyes, no mouth, no nose, nothing. This figure was so solid, it was blocking the DVR lights, and my first thought was an intruder was in my home. Acting quickly, knowing my father was upstairs sleeping, I turned to run up the stairs. As I began running up the stairs, the figure chased after me, except this was not a normal run with a pace like step, 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 like you'd expect from any human being running. No, it was fast, like step, 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 step. Physically impossible for someone to be that fast. Usain Bolt could never. As I took a breath to yell, "Dad, get your gun," I felt two icy cold, thick hands push me hard on my back, and I fell. Turning to fight my assailant as I landed on the stairs, just to see nothing there. I felt a horrific chill surrounding me as my heart pounded in my ears and everything went quiet. I laid there, halfway up the stairs, just piecing together what happened in the dark, catching to my breath. I had been having experiences up to this point, so it didn't take me longer than 5 seconds to deduce the spirit we had in the house just escalated things dramatically. I scrambled the rest of the way up the stairs and to my sister's room, who, to my devastation, was asleep already. Needless to say, I didn't sleep that night. We eventually found out